I'm Justin Davis, and this is Drone Camps RC. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Justin Davis, and today we have a new review for you. Before we get started, please do check out my Patreon below because you can win this in the month of August. All you have to do is sign up for $1 and you get entered into those Patreon-only drawings. Batteries are done. And good news, guys, we just released our merchandise store, so you can get Drone Camp swag down at the link below. But today it's all about the Leader SE, and I have it here in my hand from Lewis over at Full Speed RC. I'm super stoked to take you guys out and fly this one. It seems like only a few weeks ago when I flew the original Leader 120. This is a 120mm frame with 1104 motors on here. This was right in the beginning, right in the very early days of brushless micros. And now fast forward to August 2018, we have the Leader 3 SE available. They sent me this little guy last week and they told me it can run on 3 and 4S. We can run it on 2.5-inch props or 3-inch props. We're gonna also try out some line of sight flying with it and also some FPV. After we're done doing a little bit of flying with it, we'll take it back into the studio and I'll give you a little closer look at this frame because what he has sent me here is actually one of the nicest looking quad frames, bind and fly, or PMP frames that I've seen so far this year for a brushless micro. Very, very tight and tidy design. I think you guys are gonna like it. So I got a couple more batteries left on the charger over there and we're almost ready to go out to the field. We'll do some flying with the Leader 3 SE. Here we go. All right, let's go ahead and plug in the quad battery and get this little guy up in the air. You know, some people are asking me if this quad is like a competitor to something like the Baby Hawk R. I would say absolutely. It's a very similar power system, just a whole different frame on here though, and kind of design way different. Got carbon sidewalls on this one and a TPU top mount frame. So you have that little shark fin, or you can fly it without it. But these 1106 motors and the power system on here is very similar. You actually have, I think you have larger ESCs on this guy, 28 amp via Heli D-Shot 600 on those I think they're 1106 4500 kV motors, rocking some 2.5-inch props or 3 of your choice. But it flies really, really smooth right out of the box, and all the motors were set up the right directions and everything, so all I really had to do was set it up in beta flight. It has 3.3.3 on there, set up my modes and my switches, get those all right, make sure my channel maps were all good, and I did a little test flight right next to my desk inside the house, and everything checked out. So I love it when I get a bind and fly quad and everything is pretty much like set up and ready to bind up with my radio and go fly. And this is kind of a prime example of one of those quads. Extreme performance. This is that micro brushless sweet spot that I've been talking about for the last couple of years. 2.5-inch to 3-inch props on 1106 motors. I've convinced a lot of people to start flying that type of power setup, and this is a really, really good quad. So I have really nothing bad to say so far about this quad. This is 5 out of 5 stars for sure. All right, let's go ahead and do some FPV. Now I knew once I flew it line of sight, I knew that I was going to have a lot of control with this quad, but I didn't know right out of the gate that I'd have this much control. I mean, I just loop around this tree and come around the bottom of it, no problem. The loops are nice and tight and controlled. My yaw axis is nice and snappy. And I was already ready to start doing knife edges with this quad on the first battery. Now I did notice something. See how my voltage is really low right here? Either the voltage is wrong on this quad, or my old battery that I've had for over a year. This is a little 3S 550. This is probably the sweet spot for this quad. As far as vibrations go, 4S just seemed to have more vibrations and really touchy on the throttle. So if you're a new guy, cut back battery down to 3S and you're gonna have a lot of fun on 3S. It's kind of amazing. Now this is another battery that I was running, and the voltage on this one was also tanking, and that's partially due to 1106s really can stress out a battery and put a lot of sag on a battery. So a lot of these power systems that are running these 1106 motors, you really have to use new batteries with a high C rating. And honestly, maybe a little more milliamp if you can carry it. I think it's going to fly a little heavier with the 850 milliamp battery, but you're just going to get a longer flight time. My flight times with my 500 milliamp batteries that are older were in the 2-minute range. So these 1106s are super hungry Now with this setup, I'm really comfortable with this flight controller. It is performing awesome. Everything feels really locked in, the sticks feel really natural, and I even upped the rates to about 75. He had the super rate set to about 70, so I'm taking more chances now with this quad because I know I can get it wet. Oh crap, oh boy, gonna ride it out. Sometimes if you do that, this will happen. I got lucky right there and didn't fly into the top of that tree. Just ride it out sometimes and you'll get out of it. But I'm taking a lot more chances with this quad, and it's mainly because I feel way more comfortable flying this quad than some of the ones that I've flown recently. They just fly a little bit slow, they're a little bit slow to react, and this one feels like your friend's hot rod car. I mean, like, they let you drive it one time and you're like, wow, this is an amazing car. I wish I owned this. And you'll feel the same way about this quad if you fly it. If a friend has one, find a Leader 3 and fly it. I think you're gonna love it. I mean, I'm doing all kinds of stuff here that I just I've not been doing a lot lately. So I'm flying a lot of slow flow lately, and I've been taking it easy on the sticks. And this quad just won't let me do that. And here I've got a 4S battery on it. You can see that 4S battery is even sagging a little bit right there. But I'm also backing off the throttle a little bit because at the high end of the throttle with the 4S, it starts to shake and vibrate. And that's one drawback, but I'm sure that Lewis is going to have other PID tunes available, so you can probably add those profiles inside your Betaflight and switch between profiles when you're flying 3 or 4S battery. But the camera looks decent. I'd say there's a little bit of static right now. For some reason, intermittent static. I might not have the VTX set to the highest power, but definitely a 5-star out of 5-star quad as far as performance and the gear that's on here. I am super happy with this quad. It is absolutely awesome. 2 thumbs up for this little guy. Here we go. Let's go in the studio. Alright, so we're back in the studio. Let's talk about this quad. This is the box it comes in, and you get this little sticker up at the top. Shows you what's available. DSMX, FrSky, FlySky, or the plug and play, and that means no receiver with it. I got the one with the D8 receiver on there. I would suggest getting the one with the D16 if I were you. Better penetration. It also came with some HQ props. Those are tri-blade 3x3x3 props. They worked extremely well, so I can definitely recommend using these props on this particular quad. They are 3-inch prop. Lewis sent me the SE version, which is the one with the cool canopy. If you get the Leader 3, the regular one does not have that canopy on top, so it might be actually a little bit cheaper. Mine was $132.99. Right here you can see it sitting next to the original Leader 120. And I tried out a bunch of different batteries for you guys. I think probably the sweet spot is around the 3S 850. It's going to give you a longer flight time. 1106 motors really do eat up the battery quite quick because 1106 4500 kV, that's sort of around the top end of micro brushless motors right now. And the flight controller on this bad boy is the FSD F411. It has built-in Betaflight OSD and Betaflight 3.3.3 already on here. And the camera's that Cadex Micro F1, which you guys saw. That is a really, really extremely nice camera with a really nice light and darkness profile on this one. Now the frame on this quad is a 130mm from motor to motor frame, and it does have 3mm sidewalls. The bottom is a unibody. I would suggest maybe trying out some 2.5-inch props on this if you get a little bit too much vibrations on the 3-inch prop, but as long as you stay with 3S, you should be good to go. Now what I like a lot about Lewis's quads are the fact that Lewis from Full Speed RC is also a pilot. So if you look at his quads, a lot of times they are built exactly how a lot of FPV pilots would want as far as accessing the board. The bottom plate is a unibody, which a lot of people prefer for a brushless micro. Just it shaves off a little bit of weight off the build. If you have replaceable arms on a micro brushless, it starts to add more weight. And the canopy on top is TPU. He has that dipole mounted straight through the top of this canopy. He's got a shark fin on it for turtle mode. If you guys want to put turtle mode on it, it's going to flip over a lot easier with that shark fin on the top. And then he has this receiver antenna coming out the very top too. So really nice detail on this quad. Everything looks immaculately built. Lewis also gives you some extras inside the box, like some extra hardware, and it's really nice that he gives you an extra dipole because I lose those all the time. This is the video transmitter that comes along with it. It's called the TX600, and there's that QR code right there. Just zoom in and give you guys a little closer look. It's mountable on any 20x20 stack, so you can also buy these separately, which is super awesome. If you burn one out, you can get an extra one on his website. It's also switchable between NTSC and PAL, which doesn't matter for most of us. It's got that little push button on the side for changing your power settings, your bands, and your channels. And it also has smart audio, which is cool because you can activate this inside Betaflight, and you can go in there and then you can use your throttle stick to change your power, your band, your frequencies, and all that. So a really nice addition to this quad. And you need to notice that it is a 5-volt video transmitter, so you only want to run this guy on a 5-volt tab. Anything more is going to burn this up. If you put anything over that, you're going to lose this. But look how thin this guy is. It is wafer thin, and it already comes with that little harness right there to solder up to your flight controller. But let's go ahead and put this little guy on the scale with the dipole, and I'm getting 2.8 grams right here. That's extremely lightweight for something that has as much power as 600 milliwatt. Now I'm just going to put my SE on the scale here. 96 grams. Not bad. Not bad at all. And also, I got this in the box from Lewis. This is really awesome. It is a Lucky Box smart buzzer, and for about $10.99 you can solder this up to your quad. Wherever you would normally put your buzzer on board, you solder it to the exact same tabs on your flight controller. You're going to power this little guy by 5-volt, and once it's powered up, it will go through a series of beeps, and you can set that up. There's a manual that comes with it. It has a little push button right here, so you can set it up to different types of modes, and a little LED on there. Once you have that set up, when your battery disconnects from your quad, this little guy will still beep regardless of whether you have power to your quad or not. You can see the 5-volt ground and the BB negative button right there. And that hooks up just like your regular buzzer, which is super awesome. You can get them on his website for $10.99. You can get 3 of them for around $32.50, and you can get 5 of them for $53 and 8 of them for $86. So I'll put the link for this down below. You guys got to get a few of these for your quads. So if you want my honest opinion, I think we're around 5 out of 5 stars for this quad. My only negative about this one is the D8 receiver is not so great for not fail-safing behind trees, but go with the D16 XM Plus receiver. You're going to have a ball with this quad. My other suggestion for you guys is to run this on a 3S battery. Something like the 550 is a really nice lightweight power to weight ratio. The 4S is getting a little bit too much vibes on these 3-inch props, so definitely prop down to something like a 2.5-inch, and you should get the perfect flying quad if you're going to run 4S. But my recommendation is a 3S 550. Definitely the perfect battery for this quad. Anyway, guys, I'm out. You guys can check out the link below. Appreciate you watching. I'll see you on the next one.